هلا we start part C يلي هي angle and associated arc. It's very important. هلا قلت لكم أنا I really care about cosine and sine لأنه tangent you can find it from sine over cosine. كيف بعمل يا مس؟ It's very important. First to locate. أنا I will erase and I want you to know how to locate. يعني I want to find what is cosine minus alpha in terms of cosine alpha or sine minus alpha in terms of sine alpha. So first of all I draw my circle. And I need to locate where are alpha and minus alpha. دايما باخد alpha بquadrant 1. Whatever you take it, you're gonna have the same answer. بس if this is my angle alpha, where might be my minus alpha? And I go like this, positive. I go like this, you know that, negative. So I'm doing plus 30, for example, minus 30 will be down here. So this is minus alpha. And well, as we said, this is cosine, وهيدا sine. Okay? Let's compare them. I know that if I do the orthogonal projection of alpha, هيدا الكوساين alpha, and this is its sine. يعني هيدا sine of alpha وهيدا هون cosine alpha البوينت يعني x and y. If I do the orthogonal projection of minus alpha يحوي هيدا الكوساين minus alpha, and this is هون هيدا البوينت sine minus alpha. Now if I want to compare them, how are cosine minus alpha and cosine alpha? They are the same. So دايما أنا بحط cosine alpha equal بحط هون cosine alpha and هون I want sine alpha. My answer is or the same or opposite. Cosine minus alpha and cosine alpha. Look at those 2 points. They are not the same, so they are equal. Now sine alpha and sine minus alpha. Sine minus alpha is here. Sine alpha is here. They are the same. No, they are opposite, so it's minus sine alpha. Now if I want to find tangent minus alpha ما بعذب قلبي. I don't need to look at the tangent minus alpha هي sine over cosine. So both one negative over positive or positive over negative, and the answer is minus tangent alpha. So I don't need to memorize it. والcotangent كمان positive over negative يعني it's minus cotangent alpha. Now I need to go to the other one. I have now pi minus alpha. So I need to locate it. I will erase everything. I don't need the tangent والcotangent. خلينا على السine والcosine. عبالكم tangent cotangent you find from sine and cosine. You need to locate the angles. So بتطلع هون مثلا. I will draw it again. I put alpha or pi minus alpha on the unit circle. And I see if they have the same sign or not. دغري بحط هون الانسر في مس cosine alpha وsine alpha. They are all the same or opposite. So all what we need to do is just to check in which quadrant I will have the answer. Okay, so هون I'm comparing the angles pi minus alpha and alpha. So كمان دايما باخد الالفا in the first quadrant. So this is my alpha. Let's say this is alpha. Okay, إذا هيدا الالفا مس يعني هيدا his cosine. This is the cosine بحط C أنا وهيدا it's sine بحط S. What is the angle pi minus alpha? Pi يعني عم بعمل أنا 180 يعني I'm doing 180. How I do 180? I'm here. I'm doing 180 minus alpha يعني بدي أرجع opposite يعني I'm here. So this is pi minus alpha. And then I compare them. It's very simple. Look. Are the cosine the same? No, they are opposite. This is minus. Are the sine the same? Yes, they are the same. So it's a sine. So sine pi minus alpha, it's sine alpha. Now I go to pi plus alpha and alpha. So let's go to pi plus alpha and alpha. The same idea. I will erase. برجع بقول لكم tangent والcotangent دغري I will get it from the answer. يعني اثنيناتهم positive. The answer is positive for tangent and cotangent. If one is negative of them يعني بنيجاتيف. أنا بهمني هو. I will do it again from zero. How I'm doing this. So بحط الانسر cosine pi plus alpha هي هون cosine هون sine. I just need to see if it's the same ولا it's opposite. I draw my unit circle. دايما I need to يعني locate in which quadrant. This is alpha. وين بصير الباي plus alpha؟ أنا هون مس عم بعمل باي يعني 180 plus alpha أنا صرت هون بهيدا الكوادرنت. So this is pi plus alpha and quadrant 3 they are both negative. Look. هيدا الكوساين of alpha وهيدا الساين of alpha. If I look here, this is cosine of alpha and this is sine of pi plus alpha. Sorry. So if I compare them, cosine alpha and cosine pi plus alpha they are opposite, so minus. This is sine alpha, this is sine pi plus alpha, they are not the same, they are opposite, so minus. يعني هون بتطلع tangent pi plus alpha والcotangent pi plus alpha both are the same, tangent وcotangent مش minus لأنه minus over minus will give me plus. هلا بدنا ننتبه على الباي بلس الفا والفا هون باي اوفر 2 سوري هون ذا تشينج الكوساين بدها تصير ساين والساين كوساين لانه هون the distance will not be the same. هلا I will show you how. So pi plus alpha and alpha. Why it's not the same? So when I'm doing cosine pi over 2 plus alpha, with sine pi over 2 plus alpha, the cosine becomes sine. The cosine راح يصير sine, gives me sine. هقابلكم ليه. And the sine will give me cosine, but I need to locate it. يعني cosine pi over 2 plus alpha is in which is it positive or negative? But I will tell you why it's not the same. مش cosine بدل cosine. لأنه هون you're gonna see that the distance is not the same. If I draw my unit circle and those are the angles. Oh my god, هذا unit circle خرافي. Let's just fix the ax. This one, that's it. I'm sorry guys. So this is cosine and this is sine. So إذا هيدا يا مس alpha, okay? Be careful. يعني الألفا يعني عم باخد أنا هيدا الأنجل. Pi over 2 يعني أنا عم here. Pi over 2 plus alpha يعني أنا عم here. If I want to compare ليكو هيدي الديستنس الجرين هيدي الكوساين. هيدي الكوساين alpha. Okay? But if I want to see what is cosine pi over 2, look, it's not the same distance. Okay? So ما the same distance. بس إذا أنا بعمل الساين of this one, look at it. هيدي الديستنس هون حتكون مثل هيدي. So that's why it's changed. Cosine becomes sine, sine becomes cosine. And if I look at the sine of pi over 2 plus alpha ليك وهيدي الديستنس هي مثل الكوساين. Okay? So كل اللي بعمله أنا I know that بس شوف pi over 2 plus alpha cosine becomes sine, sine, cosine. But I need to see the sign is if it's positive or negative. The pi over 2 plus alpha it's here. Okay? The cosine of it, the cosine هو minus. The cosine is negative. So the cosine should give me a negative answer. The sine pi over 2 plus alpha, it's a positive answer لأنه sine is positive, so it's plus cosine alpha. Okay? So بتطلع على pi over 2 plus alpha. Cosine pi over 2 plus alpha, it's a negative answer. It should give me minus sine alpha. Sine pi over 2 plus alpha, it's positive, it give me plus cosine alpha. Now the same for pi over 2 minus alpha. كمان I need to كمان لأنه pi over 2 the cosine بيصير sine with sine cosine. Okay? The cosine becomes sine and sine becomes cosine. Let's do it. Here. Now the distance will change. So cosine becomes sine and sine becomes cosine. But I need to see the sign of it and if it's positive or negative. So I do it like this. And now I will see here. So إذا this one is alpha pi over 2 minus alpha هون هيدا pi over 2 minus alpha بدي ارجع لورا. That's it. So this is pi over 2 minus alpha. Look guys, if you compare the cosine of those, they are not the same. هيدا cosine pi over 2 minus alpha وهيدا cosine alpha, they are not the same. That's why we'll change. The cosine becomes the same distance as sine. Now I will look at pi over 2 minus alpha. With it's located in quadrant 1. In quadrant 1 يعني الcosine is positive, يعني الcosine will give me a positive answer. With sine is positive, the sine will give me a positive answer. That's it. So I don't need to memorize. I need to just imagine my unit circle. Okay, that's it. هون بدنا نبلش بالapplication. But before this, I'm a little bit a reminder. So if I have my unit circle, quadrant 1, the cosine is positive and the sine is positive. Quadrant 2, cosine minus sine, it's plus. Quadrant 3, both are negative. Cosine and sine are negative. هون عنا الcosine plus and sine negative. That's it.